Well, let's start with Harry Kane. As you said, there's a bit of a campaign now beginning to kind of gather speed for him to pick up the Ballon d'Or this year. Was that something that came up on your travels? Maybe he was a little too polite, a little too English to talk about it himself after the game. Maybe he did, I don't know. But I'm
Yeah,
sure he has others doing his hard work for him in that regard.
I think that is the most accurate description right there. He himself is definitely not doing the pushing, but there's lots of people doing the pushing for him. I'm sure behind the scenes, his agent, his brother, is quite busy helping with this. Yeah, I mean, look, this I think this is an interest that goes beyond Bayern Munich. And the Bundesliga hadn't had a Ballon d'Or winner since Matthias Sammer, which was in 1996. Right, so it has been a
Yeah.
long time,
Who
30
was the last
years.
one in the running? Maybe Manuel Neuer or Ribery?
Robert Lewandowski, and then
Of
the Ballon
course,
d'Or
of
was
course.
called off, right?
That's right, yeah.
Um, and so, I mean, I personally think the Ballon d'Or is quite an open race. There's a lot of players in the running. Harry Kane scored 71 goals overall across all competitions last season. I think that's a very strong argument. And he was very good for England at the World Cup. Probably the main reason why England got as far as they did. And yeah, so there's a push there. Whether he's going to win it or not, I think I personally I can't read it. I think there is not a surefire bet. I can see a lot of people voting for Messi, for example, because he helped Argentina go all the way to the World Cup final. I can see a lot of people voting for Rodri. People mention Ferran Torres, which is okay, a little bit of a stretch. Then I think Erling Haaland is going to pull a lot of votes as well for his performances with France. And then, of course, Norway. And then Kylian Mbappé is going to probably pull a lot of votes because of the way he played at the World Cup as well. So because it is such an open race and it's such a split vote, it's really hard to call there's not going to be a runaway candidate this time, right? So, which could be a good thing for him. He might pull the vote for a lot of countries that are associated closer to England. He's probably going to get Germany's vote. He's just won Germany's Player of the Year award. He's the first Englishman to do so. And he won the Golden Boot, which is organized by a bunch of media companies in Europe, right? So he won the European Golden Boot. So, the push is there, and I think he has a good chance. But I can't really quantify how big the chance is, and I think Bayern Munich don't want to take any risks, so they're pushing really hard, making sure that we talk a lot about him, which is easy because he still keeps performing. I think there's a very strong argument he's the best number 9 in the world.
Yeah, as you said, it is wide open because of how the Champions League and the World Cup played out. I think had France gone on and won the World Cup, you could be making a case for another shout for Dembele or Desiree Doué, or maybe even Kane's teammate Michael
Olise.
Olise is
Mm-hmm.
obviously done very, very well. But it's wide open. Spain winning the World Cup kind of brings a few of those players into contention. The usual names like Mbappe and Vinicius Junior maybe aren't as high up as they once were
Mm.
because their nations didn't win the World Cup, particularly Vinicius Junior, perhaps, which may be unfair on him, but that's kind of the way the cookie crumbles, unfortunately. So it is fascinating. And it'll be interesting to see how close Harry Kane gets. And if there's an inclination he's not going to win it, I wonder if Bayern will do a Real Madrid and just refuse to go to the ceremony and say they're not taking part. I suspect they won't, but that would be quite funny.
I
Um,
Yeah, yeah. That came up, and I think they made a very strong point about the fact. I'm not going to say Wolf and Bayern said this, but they made a quite strong point about the fact that they would never do that, and that maybe should give them some brownie points. So
yeah, Bayern are they're often very good at being the adults in the room. Put it that way.